All right, good afternoon and welcome everyone to the campus of the Kansas City, Kansas Community College Blue Devils. Sunshiny day here in Kansas City, Kansas for the game today. Welcome to the broadcast. I'll do a little sound check and I'll be back with the starters. Welcome. All right, welcome everyone to the last doubleheader before postseason play begins. The Blue Devils dropped two down in Ark City Thursday, and they welcome into town the Cowley Tigers for a doubleheader today. We will be trying to come back from those two losses, but most of all to know the Blue Devils have secured a home playoff berth in the KJCCC, which will begin next Wednesday. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, there will be a best 2 out of 3, and we will welcome into town one of 3 possible teams, as it looks right now that if it happened today, it would be Butler, but based on the games today, it could be Colby moving down, Butler moving up, or Seward moving up and Butler and or Colby moving down. So that will have to play itself out, but the Blue Devils have secured at least 4th place, so they will have a best 2 out of 3 starting Wednesday of next week. We'll bring those games to you just as usual. Welcome and thank you. Let's hit the starting lineups for today real quick. Starting for the Cowley Tigers, starting at shortstop and leading off, Cade Baldridge. Batting second, the left fielder, Seth Dandridge. Batting third, the designated hitter, Weston Thomas. Batting cleanup, Dax McCaskill. He'll be in right field. Batting fifth, the third baseman, Logan Smith. Batting sixth, the first baseman, Dawson Williams. Batting seventh, the second baseman, Logan Groh. Batting eighth, the catcher, Carter Freeland. Batting ninth, the center fielder, Drake Fitro, with Talon Bagwell on the mound. So it'll be Baldridge, Dandridge, Thomas, McCaskill, Smith, Williams, Groh, Freeland, and Fitro, with Bagwell on the mound. That is the starting lineup for the Cowley Tigers. Now for your KCK Blue Devils, leading off the shortstop, Tanner Pachorik. Batting second, the center fielder, Marcus Dirks. Batting third, the first baseman, Frankie Santiago. Batting cleanup, the left fielder, Freddie Nolan IV. Batting fifth, the designated hitter, Ian Woida. Batting sixth, the catcher, Braden Horn. Batting seventh, the third baseman, Cade Perry. Batting eighth, the second baseman, Harrison Barham. Batting ninth, the right fielder, Spencer Schmock. And Caleb Reed will be on the mound. So for the Blue Devils, it'll be Pachorik, Dirk, Santiago, Nolan IV, Woida, Horn, Perry, Barham, Schmock, with Reed on the mound. We'll take a short break. We'll get this thing started here in about 12 minutes. Thanks for joining me. I'll be back. All right, welcome to the broadcast, everyone. I was trying to get the speed gun put on the machine so you could see the speed of the pitch, but I've failed to do that. So there's a strike called on the shortstop, Cade Baldridge. Baldridge starts the day batting .333. There's a foul ball whizzed by the first base coach down there. Caleb Reed on the mound for the Blue Devils. He's from Olathe, Kansas. 2.06 ERA. 7-0 is his record. 11 appearances with 62 strikeouts versus 30 walks. On the mound, tall righty, Redhead just misses a little bit outside. 1-2 the count. Look pretty good from up here. Nolan the fourth, Dirks and Schmock across the outfield left to right. Perry, Pachorik, Barman, Santiago left to right across the infield with Horn behind the plate. There's another foul ball back to the screen. So we'll do the 1-2 again. Opening hitter of the game today, the Blue Devils dropped 2 games on Thursday down in Ark City when they went down to play Cowley down there. 1-2 the count on Baldridge. There's a ball headed down the left field line. That's going to be out of play. We'll do the 1-2 again. Welcome to the broadcast. Thanks for joining us. Comes the 1-2, strike 3 on the inside corner for the called strikeout.
Now batting for the Tigers, the left fielder, number 9, Seth Dandridge.
That's going to bring it up the left fielder, Seth Dandridge. Another left-hander will step in. Dandridge starts the day batting .381. He'll step in with 1 out and nobody on. Breaking ball stays up and out. 1-0 the count. Comes the 1-0 pitch. That's outside, so 2-0 the count. Sunshiny day here in Kansas City, Kansas. Here's the wind and the pitch from Reed. There's a strike right through there. 2-1 the count. There's a ground ball. Still trying to figure out why my speed gun is not showing up. But I better just pay attention to baseball and not worry about it so much. 2-2 the count. There's a ball hit into center field. That's going to be a base hit. That drops in front of Dirks.
Now batting for Cowley, the DH, number 39, Weston Thomas.
Weston Thomas will step in. Runner at first base is Dandridge. Thomas will step in. Thomas starts the day batting .336. That stays outside for ball 1, 1-0 the count. So the 1 out hit by the left fielder, Dandridge. He's over at first. Weston Thomas, the designated hitter for the Tigers. That's inside. 2-0 the count. Outfield playing Thomas straight up infield. At least the third baseman and the shortstop playing more toward the middle. 2-0 the count. That ball was a little bit low. 3-0 the count. That pitch looked pretty good right there. Still establishing where the bottom side and the top side of the zone was going to be today for this first game. 3-0 the count. There's ball 4. That'll bring up McCaskill.
Now batting the right fielder, number 12, Dax McCaskill.
McCaskill will step in with runners at first and second with just 1 out. McCaskill starts the day batting .371. The high pump up on the right side over into foul territory is Santiago. He takes care of that for the second out of the inning.
Now batting number 14, third baseman, Logan Smith.
That's going to bring up Smith. He starts the day batting .315. He'll step in with runners at first and second with 2 outs now. It's outside, 1-0 the count. Welcome to the broadcast. Thanks for joining us. Sunshiny Saturday afternoon, a little baseball with your Blue Devils. Hosting the Cowley Tigers. There's a breaking ball right through there for a strike called. Tigers are in first place on the eastern side of the KJCCC. That's low and inside, 2-1 the count. Two balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, 2 on. Way inside. Gonna let the runners move up. Wild pitch or pass ball. Your catcher's going to say that he felt like he should have caught that. It wasn't in the dirt. It was about the feet of the catcher. Say pass ball. There's a foul ball, so 3-2 the count now. Three balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Logan Smith at the plate. There's a foul ball on a check swing. Smith's .315 batting average starting the day. Comes the stretch and the 3-2 from Reed. Another foul ball off the bat twice. Be a foul ball again. So we'll do the 3-2 again. Logan Smith, the third baseman, earns another pitch with that foul ball. Swing and a miss of that pitch for the strikeout. So the Tigers get no runs on 1 hit, no errors. 2 runners left on. We go to the bottom half of the first inning. Cowley scoreless. Your Blue Devils coming up. We'll be back. Thanks for joining me today. Be sure and like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you'll be notified every time we make an upload or go live. Thanks again. All right, here we go to the bottom of the first inning. Blue Devils will send up Pachorik, Dirks, and Santiago. Talon Bagwell on the mound for the Tigers. Cowley, he's from Rolfe, Oklahoma. He has a 3.95 ERA. 5-1 is his record. 10 appearances, 52 strikeouts versus 11 walks.
The shortstop, number 5, Tanner Pachorik.
Tanner Pachorik will step in. Pachorik starts the day batting .368. He'll step in to face Talon Bagwell. That pitch is up and out for ball 1. 1-0 the count. Bottom half of the first inning. 7 innings scheduled game. That's outside for ball 2. Per conference bylaws, the first game's a 7, the second game is a 9. There is an exception to that. We'll only discuss it if it happens. It's another pitch. Holy cow. We'll just broaden that 2-0 strike zone just a little bit there. 2-1 the count. Comes the 2-1, and that's fouled back and over the top of us. That third pitch, if it's not called a strike, then he probably lets that one go instead of swinging at the high one. So here we are at 2-2. That's up high, so the count goes full. 3-2 the count on the shortstop. Tanner Pachorik. Goes Talon Bagwell of the Tigers. There's a foul ball back into the screen. The defense behind Bagwell, Dandridge, Fitro, McCaskill left to right across the outfield. Smith, Baldridge, Groh, and Williams across the infield with Freeland behind the plate. Comes the 3-2. There's a ball headed into center field, and that's going to be caught by Fitro, the center fielder. Just hung up long enough for the catch.
The center fielder, number 27, Marcus Dirks.
So that's going to bring up Dirks. Dirks will step in with 1 out and nobody on. Dirks starts the day batting .395. There's a strike, catches the outside corner at the waist. 0-1 the count. One out, nobody on. Dirks at the plate. There's a strike, catches the outside corner. So 0-2 the count. Dirks the center fielder for the Blue Devils. Comes the 0-2 from Bagwell. That's outside. 1-2 the count. One ball, 2 strikes, 1 out. Just fouled down the left field line. That had extra bases written all over it if it had been about a 2 foot closer to the lines. We'll do the 1-2 again. There's a ball right back up the middle. And going to be safe at first. So Baldridge over behind second base. The ball goes right by the feet of the pitcher, Bagwell. It's going to be a base hit.
Now batting for the Blue Devils, number 26, the first baseman, Frankie Santiago.
That's going to bring up Santiago. Santiago starts the day batting .330. He steps in with 1 out and a runner at first base. Swing and a miss of that first pitch. One hand slipped off the bat there, so Santiago will retest for the grip there. 0-1 the count. Runner at first, 0-1 the count. Toss over to first. Nothing much going on over there. Dirk's back in safely. That's up just a little bit. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on here in the bottom of the first inning. Each team with 1 hit. Comes the 1-1 from Bagwell. Fouled back into the screen by Santiago. I think Santiago needs to go get a little more pine tar. His hand has slipped off 2 of the 3 swings so far. 1-2 the count on the first baseman, Frankie Santiago. Comes the 1-2 from Bagwell. There's a ball headed into left field. That's going to be a base hit down. Fought it off just enough for the base hit.
Now batting for the Blue Devils, left fielder number 22, Freddie Nolan IV.
That's going to bring up Nolan IV. He starts the day batting .337. He'll step in with runners at first and second base and 1 out. Breaking ball catches the outside corner. Just Caleb Reed, take notice of the width of the plate right there. 0-1 the count on Nolan IV. Swing and a miss, had the breaking ball that was started out inside half, ended up in the middle. That was the pitch he was looking for right there. So now let's go defensive on the swing. Just try and put this thing in play to the right side of the infield. Have his approach right. Here comes the 0-2. There's a ball headed down the right field line. That's going to head for the woods and just barely makes it in the woods. So we'll do the 0-2 again. Comes the 0-2 again. That's going to get the runners moved up on the 5-3 ground out. Move the runners over. A high enough of a chopper that Smith didn't have any choice but to head over to Williams. So that's going to bring up Woida. Woida will step in with 2 outs now. Runners at second and third, just like the Tigers had in their half. Woida starts the day batting .356. There's a breaking ball, catches the outside corner. Ian kind of cocked his head sideways, and he would know that that is going to be called a strike if he'd have watched the previous hitter from up here anyway. 0-1 the count.
There it is.
There's a ground ball headed into the corner. That's going to score 2. So Woida with the 2 RBI base hit through the hole over between Smith and Baldridge at shortstop and third. So Woida with the base hit that gets the Blue Devils on the board.
For the Blue Devils, the catcher number 55, Braden Horn.
That's going to bring up Horn. Horn starts the day batting .326. So runners in scoring position, and Woida comes through with the base hit. There's a strike called top part of the zone right down the middle. So the Blue Devils have 3 base hits here in the bottom half of the first inning, and that's going to yield a couple of runs. Comes the 0-1. That's low and outside. 1-1 the count. 1 ball, 1 strike, 2 outs, 2 runs in for the Blue Devils here. Bottom of the first inning action. That breaking ball's a little bit outside, but that might tell us where the where the outside corner might be right there. So 2-1 the count. Horn the catcher up there with 2 outs and 1 on. There's a high fly ball, and that's going to be deep to left field. And scoring from first base. So Horn with the double to left center. Gets an RBI to put the Blue Devils up 3-0. Going to get a little visit to the mound. The Blue Devils have plated 3 here on 4 hits out of 6 hitters. We'll take a short break. We'll be back. On. All right, here we go. There's a ball that's headed into right center, headed for home, and the ball's going to be cut off. So Cade Perry with an RBI base hit, and the Blue Devils have taken a 4-0 lead. So Barham will step in, the second baseman. Barham starts the day batting .350. He'll step in with a runner at first base and 2 outs. There's a strike right through there. Owen won the count. Barham, the second baseman, he's the 8th hitter to come to the plate. Blue Devils have plated 4. There's a ball that's going to be taken by the right fielder, McCaskill.
For your Blue Devils in the bottom of the first, 4 runs on 4 hits, no errors, and 1 left on base.
The
Now headed to the top of the second.
Blue Devils get 4 runs on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 hits. The Blue Devils take a 4-0 lead after 1 inning. We'll take a short break. We'll be back. Top of the second inning coming up. Welcome. Thanks for joining me today. Be sure and like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you'll be notified every time we make an upload or go live. Thanks again. All right, here we go to the top of the second inning. Williams, Groh, and Freeland scheduled up.
Number 40, the first baseman, Dawson Williams.
It's going to bring up Dawson Williams, the first baseman. Williams starts the day batting .380. He'll step in to lead things off here in the second. First pitch goes outside by Caleb Reed. Comes the 1-0. It's outside. 2-0 the count. Dawson Williams, the first baseman. That ball's just a little bit down, so 3-0 the count here on the leadoff hitter here in the top of the second inning. And there's inside and hits him for ball 4, so the hit by pitch as opposed to the base on balls, but it's going to yield both.
The second baseman, number 19, Logan Groh.
So that's going to bring up Logan Groh. Groh starts the day batting .393. Steps in with a runner at first base and nobody out. In the dirt, nicely blocked by Horn. 1-0 the count. Williams down at first base. There's a strike. Strike call. 1-1 the count. That's down low. 2-1 the count. So the leadoff hit by pitch to Williams. 2-1 the count. Blue Devils leading 4-0. They plated 4 runs on 5 hits. They're in the bottom of the first. So ball headed to deep left field. That's going to be taken by Nolan the fourth for the first out of the inning.
Now batting for Cowley, the catcher, number 6, Carter Freeland.
Carter Freeland will step in. Freeland starts the day batting .319. He'll step in with 1 out and 1 on. That's a little bit up inside half the plate, but a little high. 1-0 the count. Comes the stretch and the 1-0. That's down low. 2-0 the count. Squares to bunt. Takes a strike right through there. So 2-1 the count. Comes the 2-1. There's a ball headed into left field, and that's going to be run down by Nolan the fourth. So a good play over by the line.
Now batting for the Tigers, the center fielder, number 23, Drake Fitro.
That's going to bring up Fitro. Fitro starts the day batting .330. He's the center fielder for the Cowley Tigers. That ball's low and inside. 1-0 the count. Ball's a little bit down. Two and 0 the count. Ball's outside. 3-0 the count. Going to get a little visit to the mound. Horn and Santiago will come in to visit with Reed a bit. Blue Devils plated 4. They had a base hit, then a base hit, then an out, then a base hit for 2 RBI from Witta, then a double from Horn for an RBI, and then Perry a base hit for an RBI. So The 5, 6, and 7 hitters go 2 RBI, 1 RBI, 1 RBI, and the Blue Devils led by 4 at the end of 1. 2 outs here. There's a strike inside corner at the knees. The ball fouled away right there. Three and two that count. Runner goes, and there's ball 4. So a hit by pitch, a couple of fly outs, and a walk. And back to the top of the order we go for Cowley. Baldridge will step in for his hit. He is from Roth, Oklahoma as well. The pitcher today for Cowley is from Roth. He was called out on strikes his first time up. That pitch is a little bit high, 1-0 the count. Sure like to see that first pitch be a strike a little bit more often here. See if Caleb's just trying to be too fine with things, and hopefully he will find the zone. There's a strike outside corner at the knees. 1-1 the count. You just don't want to keep dodging the bullet by starting off down in the count. A little bit outside, 2-1 the count. 2 outs, 2 on, 2-1 the count. The shortstop, Cade Baldridge, at the plate for the Tigers. It's a ground ball headed at Barham. He's up with it and over to Santiago for the 4-3 ground out. So no runs on no hits. 2 runners left on. And we go to the bottom of the second inning. Blue Devils leading 4-0. I'll be back.
Spencer Smock.
The right fielder, Spencer Smock, will lead off the bottom of the second inning for the Blue Devils. He starts the day batting .292. He'll lead things off here and face Talon Bagwell. Here in the bottom of the second, there's a high chopper at the third baseman. And Smith comes up with that, and over to Williams for the 5-3 ground out. So back to the top of the order. Back to the top of the order, and Pachorik. Pachorik is from Aurora, Colorado. He flew out to Fitro in center field his first time up. There's a strike right through there. You can see the second baseman grow over towards second base. Kind of covered up there in the picture. There's a ground ball headed right at him, and grow up with it and over to Williams for the 4-3 ground out.
The center fielder, number 27, Marcus Dirks.
So that's going to bring up Dirks. Dirks is from Kansas City, Kansas. If you go to the website, it says Kansas City, Missouri, but we've researched that. He is from Kansas City, Kansas. He had a base hit through the hole between the third baseman and the shortstop, Smith and Baldridge. He takes strike one. 0-1 the count on the center fielder, Marcus Dirks. There's a strike, catches the outside corner. 0-2 the count quickly on Dirks. Bagwell ahead of him in the count. Ball's in the dirt. Do you change it? It was into the rubber mix, or do you just say the dirt? Ball was in the dirt. 1-2 the count. There's a ball back to the pitcher. Pitcher gloves it and just barely gets it there in time. You better not think twice before with Dirk's speed really, really close.
No runs on no hits. There were no errors and no one left on base.
3 ground outs to end that inning. The Blue Devils go 3 up, 3 down. We go to the top of the third inning. Blue Devils leading 4-0. All right, here we go to the top of the third inning.
The left fielder, number 9, Seth Dandridge.
Seth Dandridge, the left fielder, will step in. He had a base hit his first time up. Dandridge is from Leawood, Kansas. That ball misses just a little bit outside. The outside part of the left-handed hitter's plate isn't as wide as the outside corner of the right-handed hitter's plate. There's a strike. One the count. There's a foul ball into the feet, so 1-2 the count. One of the things you'll find here is, and many of you know this, the umpire behind the plate, you get a dictation of what's low, what's high. There's no low part of this zone, but there's a little bit above the belt here in a zone. There's a ball that's in the dirt. So 2-2 the count. So it just takes an inning or two to figure out where that strike zone's going to be. And that's where we are today. The outside zone of the right-handed batter is way out there. There's a strike 3 called. There's that outside corner on the far side, and that's the second punch out of the day.
Number 39, Weston Thomas.
That's going to bring up Thomas. Thomas will step in with 1 out and nobody on. Thomas is from Piedmont, Oklahoma. He reached on a base on balls his first time up. First pitch to him. Just a little bit up. 1-0 the count. Couple of punch outs and another strikeout, so 3 strikeouts. There's 2-0 the count. So 1 out here to the designated hitter, Thomas. There's a strike, catches the outside corner. 2-1 the count. There's a foul ball headed over toward the dugout. 2-2 the count now. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 1 out. Blue Devils leading 4-0. Comes the wind and the pitch from Reed. That's down low. So 3-2 the count. Comes the 3-2, that's high and outside. So a punch out and then a base on balls, and that's going to bring up McCaskill.
Now batting the right fielder, number 12, Dax McCaskill.
McCaskill is from Washington, Oklahoma. He popped out in foul territory to Santiago, his first at bat. That's out and nicely blocked by the catcher, Horn. Keeps that runner at first base. Runner at first is the designated hitter, Thomas. He reached on a base on balls, both of his at-bats so far. Top of the third inning action, 2-0 the count on Dax McCaskill, the right fielder. That's inside, 3-0 the count. Going to get a visit to the mound. Blue Devils lead by 4 here in the top of the third. I'll take a short break. I'll be back. All right, words of wisdom have been imparted to Caleb Reed and Braden Horn out on the mound. There's a ball that misses inside, so back-to-back walks. So a punch out and a couple of walks.
Now batting third baseman, number 14, Logan Smith.
That's going to bring up Logan Smith. Smith is from Rattan, Oklahoma. There's a ball, misses up just a bit. 1-0 the count. Runners at first and second base. Thomas at second, McCaskill at first. Breaking ball falls a little bit low. 2-0 the count. Trust me, no one wants to be throwing strikes any more than Caleb Reed does. 2-0 the count. There's one right down the middle, 2-1. put it right back down there again, and let's see what Logan Smith can do with it. He struck out swinging his first time up. Comes the 2-1. There's a ball headed deep down the right field line. Glad that was foul because it had the distance. So 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 on. It's a ground ball.
Okay.
And we get the 6-5 ground out. The ball took him that way, so over to cover was Perry, and he takes the throw from Pachorik for the 6-5 ground out.
Now batting first baseman number 40, Dawson Williams.
That's going to bring up Williams. Williams is from Gardner, Kansas. That's way outside and in the dirt. Want to know the count? Williams was hit by a pitch his first time up as he led off the top of the second for Cowley. There's a strike. That's the lowest strike call we've seen this far in this game. Nonetheless, ruled a strike, 1-1 the count. That's down low. 2-1 the count. Two balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, 2 on. There's a high chopper at. He's going to call him out. I hope that's not a knee injury by Perry, coach. So we're going to get a little visit out. Here we are. So 2-1 the count. So as Perry takes the ball and plants to make the tag of the guy coming to third, we're going to see if the base umpire is going to say that the reason that he called him out was because he went out of the base path. We'll see if that's the case, but hope that whatever injury we have with Perry is minor. We're going to take a break. We will be back shortly. Thanks for joining me today. Be sure and like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell so you'll be notified every time we make an upload or go live. Thanks again. So as you can see, Perry is going off very gingerly, being helped by a couple of players. So a punch out, a couple of walks, and a couple of ground outs, and that last one by Perry as he planted to make the tag on the runner Thomas as he was coming over. Gonna probably be some type of a knee injury, hoping that ever so small of an injury. But we go to the bottom half of the third because there were no runs, no hits, no errors, 2 left on for the Tigers. We'll take a break. We'll be back for the bottom of the third. Blue Devils are leading 4-0. I'll be back.
Third inning for the Blue Devils. The first baseman, number 26, Santiago.
So Santiago will lead things off here in the bottom of the third for the Blue Devils. He is from Cowley, Puerto Rico. Swing and a miss of that first pitch. Did he foul that, or was it a swing and miss? 0-1 the count. That ball just missed. 1 ball, 1 strike. I want to thank everyone for watching and or listening today. We're up over 100. I love it. Comes the 1-1 to Santiago. That ball breaks just a little bit low. Santiago had a base hit his first time out. Ended up scoring on Woida's base hit. Pretty good looking pitch right there from what we've been seeing. Ruled outside, 3-1 the count on the first baseman, Frankie Santiago. Comes the 3-1. It's a foul ball that's backing out of play. It's over the top of the locker system and the dugout of the Blue Devils. So 3-2 the count now. Foul ball back to the screen. There's another foul ball right down to the feet. Three balls, 2 strikes again. Just missed a little bit inside. Pretty good looking pitch right there. We'll take a base on balls. That's going to bring up Nolan the fourth.
Number 22, Freddie Nolan the fourth.
Freddie Nolan the fourth, the left fielder. He's from Fort Worth, Texas. He grounded out to Smith at third base his first time up. Going to be a ball into right field. It's going to be taken by the right fielder, McCaskill.
Now batting the DH, number 48, Ian Woida.
So that's going to bring up Ian Woida. Woida is from Lincoln, Nebraska. He had the base hit with 2 RBI to score the first 2 runs of the game for the Blue Devils. There's a strike outside half of the plate, breaking ball. 0-1 the count. Runner at first base is Santiago. Nolan the fourth out on a fly to McCaskill in right. Woida at the plate, little toss over to first. Nothing much going on over there. Talon Bagwell in his third inning of work for the Tigers. Whistled that one right past Coach Goldbeck over at third base. Did Woida. So quickly 0-2 the count on Moida. Breaking ball hung on it and whistled a grounder right past Coach Goldbeck over there. Both bullpens starting to get just a little bit of loosening up going on. On to the count again. There's a swing and a miss for the strikeout. It's the second out of the inning.
Catcher number 55, Braden Horn.
That's going to bring up Horn. Horn will step in with 2 outs and a runner at first base. Horn is from Derby, Kansas. There's a high chopper right over the top of Coach Goldbeck. So the ground balls are kind of being magnetized to Coach over there. 0-1 the count. Horn had an RBI double his first time up. There's a ball headed into the left field corner. That is a fair ball down into the corner. Going to hold up at third base is Santiago. So in to second base, and Horn has back-to-back doubles. So we'll have a pinch hitter for Perry.
For the Blue Devils, number 45, Carter Towns.
Carter Towns will hit for Perry. Towns will pinch hit for him after the injury in the field to Perry. Towns is from Kansas City, Missouri. So a ball headed to the right side. That's going to be taken by Groh and over to Williams for the 4-3 ground out. So the Blue Devils get the double. The Blue Devils, we go to the top of the fourth inning. Blue Devils leading 4-0. Leading off the top of the fourth inning is Groh. Groh flew out to left his first time up. Squared the bunt on the first pitch, took a ball there. So 2-0 the count. Holden Finley now playing third base for the Blue Devils. That's up high, so 3-0 the count on Grow. There's a strike on the outside corner right there. It's consistent there. 3-1 the count. I mean, it's consistently there as far as the umpire's concerned. There's a base on balls to Grow. Grow is from Gardner, Kansas, and he gets hit by a pitch right there. So he'll be down at first base, and that's going to bring up Freeland.
Number 6, the catcher, Carter Freeland.
Freeland is from Ada, Oklahoma. He will step in with nobody out and a runner at first base. There's a strike at the knees right down the middle. Grow, the second baseman, he's down at first. 0-1 the count on Freeland. That's high and outside. 1-1 the count now. Comes the stretch and the 1-1 from Reed. There's a base hit, shot into right field by Freeland. And heading over to third is Gross, so that'll leave runners at the corners after the base hit into right field by Freeland. Going to get a visit to the mound, possibly, and change. We'll see if the change is made. Nobody out, runners at the corners. Blue Devils leading 4-0, but the Tigers are threatening here in the top of the fourth. I'll be back.
Number 23, Drake Fitro.
I like that. He's going to challenge him.
All right, Fitro is going to be stepping in. Reed stays in the game. Fitro is from Choctaw, Oklahoma. He takes ball one, 1-0 the count. Fitro, the center fielder, he reached on a base on balls his first time up. 1-0 the count. Runners at the corners, nobody out. There's a strike outside corner at the knees. 1-1 the count. Comes the 1-1. There's a ball headed into right field. That's going to be caught by the right fielder, Smock, and tagging and scoring is Gross. So Fitro gets the sac fly on a nice diving play by Spencer Smock. So 1 run in.
Now batting at shortstop, number 1, Cade Baldridge.
One of the guys over here said that's a big play right there because you've got 1 out and 1 on with only 1 run in as opposed to still nobody out. So the diving play is very big by Spencer Smock with 1 out now. Back to the top of the order and Baldridge. Baldridge squares to bunt, And a one-hopper over to first base with Holden Finley charging and throwing a one-hopper that Santiago digs out for the second out of the inning. So Finley gets thrown into the fire right away by the bunt.
Number 9, Seth Dandridge.
And out right there at first base, and that's going to bring up Dandridge. Dandridge steps in with 2 outs now and a runner at second base. There's a strike, catches the inside corner. So Freeland moves over to second base on that bunt. So that will actually be a sac bunt by Baldridge. 1 ball, 1 strike. Runner at second. There's a ball that's headed for the bullpen down there off the side of the fencing. So he hit it hard, but he couldn't keep it between the lines, could Dandridge. Dandridge had a base hit in the first, was called out on strikes in the third. Comes the 1-2.
Yeah.
It's hard to get in to get MRIs too. It's not like you can just say,
Exactly.
go to the store and buy an MRI. Oh, good.
Oh, strike 3 called. Breaking ball just gets a bit of the inside corner. We've seen that corner be wide the whole day. So 1 run on 1 hit, 1 left on. We go to the bottom of the 4th inning. Blue Devils leading 4-1. I'll be back.
The second baseman, number 11, Harrison Barham.
Harrison Barham, Schmock and Petroik scheduled up. Barham is from Kansas City, Missouri. He'll step in to lead things off here in the bottom of the 4th. Swings through that first pitch from Talon Bagwell. He flew out to McCaskill in right field his first time up. 0-1 the count on Harrison Barham. There's a ball headed into left. And a nice running, sliding play by Dandridge to take away a base hit from Barham. Pretty nice play out there. He was playing pretty shallow. That gave him a chance. That's going to bring up Spencer Schmock. He made a great play on a fly ball to help the Blue Devils out. He's from Aurora, Colorado. That's going to be a hit, I believe. We'll see how they score it. That's going to be a hit. Sent Baldridge over to the backhand side, and it's just off his glove. He was trying to hurry to be able to get that. So that's going to bring up Pachorik. He's been out on a fly to Fitro in center and grounded out to Grow at second base. That's way outside, 1-0 the count. So a runner at first base after the one-out hit by Smock. 1-0 the count on Pachorik. Another toss over to first. Nothing much going on over there. Comes the pitch. That's inside to Pachorik.
Ball 2. 2 point though, if you're not like going. I just had to confirm myself. Reassure.
2-0 the count. 1 out, 1 on. Blue Devils lead 4-1. Runner goes. So we get the hit and run, and Pachorik shoots one right up the middle where the second baseman Grow is coming over to cover. All he has to do is step on the bag and over to first for the double play.
No runs on one hit.
The Blue Devils get no runs on one hit. We go to the top of the fifth inning. Blue Devils leading 4-1. I'll be back. All right, to the top of the fifth we go. Gavin Killian comes to the mound. He's from Hughesville, Missouri. First pitch is a strike to Thomas. Thomas, McCaskill, and Smith scheduled up. Killian has a 3.96 ERA. 5-2 is his record. Comes the 0-1 pitch. There's a strike inside corner at the waist. Killian 5-2. He's had 15 appearances. He has 40 strikeouts to 10 base on balls. 0-2 the count on Weston Thomas. Thomas turns on that one and shoots it over toward his team's dugout. So we'll do the 0-2 again. That's low and inside. Nolan the fourth, Dirksen, Smock across the outfield. Finley, Pachorik, Barham, and Santiago across the infield. Horn behind the plate, and Killian on in relief of Reed. That's low and outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes. As Weston Thomas, the designated hitter, leads things off here in the top of the 5th for Cowley. He's reached twice on base on balls. There's a high fly ball into deep center. Going back deep is Dirks and takes care of that. So back about the warning track, the designated hitter Thomas sends Dirks for that fly out.
Right fielder number 12, Dax McCaskill.
That's going to bring up McCaskill. McCaskill will step in with 1 out and nobody on to face Killian for the first time. There's a ground ball past the diving barm at second base. So McCaskill, he's fouled out in foul territory and reached on a base on balls, and there's a base hit to right field.
The third baseman, number 14, Logan Smith.
That's going to bring up Logan Smith. He's the third baseman. Comes the first pitch to him. Breaking ball, swings through it for the miss. 0-1 the count. Smith struck out in the first, grounded out on a fielder's choice by Pachorik over to Perry. There's a foul ball backing out of play. It was on the next play that Perry takes a ground ball and goes to tag the runner coming across and buckled his knee, so we'll hope that is as minor as possible for the third baseman, Perry. Finley on to play defense in his spot. There's a swing and a miss for the strikeout. So a fly out, a base hit, and a strikeout. That's going to bring up Williams.
Now batting the first baseman, number 40, Dawson Williams.
Dawson Williams, the first baseman. He was hit by a pitch in the second and grounded out 5 unassisted to Perry. In the third, there's a strike called. Blue Devils leading 4-1 here in the top of the 5th. I want to thank the guys up here in the dugout. One's doing my scoreboard and the other guy's helping with substitutions and changes. I appreciate it. There's a ball that is blocked by Horn. The first base, McCaskill was not able to see how far it got behind him. So 1-1 the count on Williams. Comes the stretch in the 1-1 from Killian. That's high and inside. 2-1 the count. $115 watching right now. I don't know if that's the biggest number of the day, but I appreciate all of you. 2-1 pitch. A little nubber over toward the third base side and going to be 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Top of the 5th inning action, 2 outs. Swing and a foul tip into the glove of Horn for the strikeout. Foul tip was held by Horn. So no runs on 1 hit. We go to the bottom of the 5th inning. We've made it halfway through this one. Blue Devils leading 4-1. I'll be back. All right. Dirk Santiago and Nolan the fourth scheduled up for the Blue Devils. Talon Bagwell back for another inning of work for the Tigers. Squares to bunt, takes a strike. At the belt, right down the middle does Dirks. Dirks had a base hit in the first and grounded back to the pitcher in the second. 0-1 the count. Just a little bit outside. 1-1 the count. That ground out back to the pitcher. He got a little too nonchalant going over, and Dirks just about beat it out. There's a hit by a pitch. So a leadoff hit by a pitch.
Now batting for the Blue Devils, the first baseman, number 26, Frankie Santiago.
That's going to bring up Santiago, the first baseman. He had a base hit in the first and a walk in the third. Going to get a visit to the mound. It looks like a pitching change. We'll get that information and be back. Thanks for being with us. I'll be back. Pitching change has been made by the Cowley Tigers. Jack Ham from Rogers, Arkansas will take over. Ham has a 5.68 ERA, 12 appearances, no decisions. He has 16 strikeouts to 8 walks in 12 2/3 innings pitched. There's a high chopper to the first baseman, and Williams over to Baldridge, back to Williams for the 3-6-3 double play. So that's going to bring up Nolan the fourth. Nolan the fourth will step in with 2 outs and nobody on. Breaking ball is called a strike. Nolan the fourth, he grounded out to Smith at third in the first, flew out to deep right field to McCaskill, his second time up. That pitch is too far outside. So breaking balls, 1 on the outside corner, 1 outside for 1-1 the count on Nolan the fourth. Way outside. A little bit of an overthrow by Jack Ham, who's on in relief of Bagwell. Bagwell gave up 4 runs on 7 hits. Breaking ball, swing and a miss. 2-2 the count. 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. just a little bit low. Good looking pitch there, but able to lay off of that was Nolan, the fourth. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Woida in the on deck circle, hoping to get another chance. Not in this inning. There's the strikeout. So a hit by pitch, a double play, and a strikeout. No runs, no hits, no errors. Nobody left on. We go to the top of the 6th inning. Blue Devils leading 4-1. All right, to the top of the 6th we go. Grow, Freeland, and Fitro will start things off here for at least scheduled up to face Killian. The Tigers trail 4-1 here in the top of the 6th. There's a strike, breaking ball outside corner. At the knees, 0-1 the count. So Killian has come in throwing that first pitch strike. 0-1 the count. It's a high fly ball into right field. And not able to find that ball, as I was not able to find the right camera over there. And that ball is going to fall in right field for the double.
Now batting the catcher, number 6, Carter Freeland.
That'll bring up Freeland. Freeland flew out to left in the 2nd. Had a base hit to right field in the 4th. He's up there with a runner at second base. There's a strike outside corner at the waist. So the dreaded, I can't find the ball because of where the sun is here at the stadium. Lets a runner be at second. That's going to be a hit by pitch. You hope that that will turn out to be a positive thing. Instead of a wild pitch and the runner at third, you've got runners at first and second. See if we can get a double play ball hit right at somebody. Fitro's reached on a base on balls and had a sac fly to right field. Squares to bunt, pulls back and takes low for ball 1, 1-0 the count. That was the play by Smock that was big. Makes a whole change in the game right there. 1-0 the count. Squares to bunt. There's a strike. So the rotation on the bunt that the Blue Devils are using is Santiago coming from first, Barham coming over to cover, and Finley staying at third. We'll see if that changes. There's a ground ball headed to another 6-5. We've had 2 of those in this game. So the fielder's choice takes the lead runner out, keeping runners at first and second with 1 out. So back to the top of the order, and Baldridge. He's 0 for 2 on the day, but he did have a sack bunt in the 4th. He'll step in with 1 out, runners at first and second. 1 hopper right at somebody would be real good right here. That ball misses low and inside. 1-0 the count. Blue Devils with the 4-1 lead here in the top of the 6th, 7-inning scheduled game. Here comes the 1-0 from Killian. There's a ball.
Got him!
Going to be out. So Santiago dives, knocks the ball down. Killian does a nice job of getting over to cover for the second out of the inning. That's a 3-1 ground out. A big play right there, because that ball goes into the corner and scores 2. So a nice diving play by Santiago there. 2 outs, runners at second and third to Dandridge. There's a nice block by the catcher. Horn right there to keep the runners at second and third. Dandridge had a base hit in the first and then been called out on strikes twice since then. That ball misses inside. 2-0 the count.
He's their 3-hole. He's their best hitter. This is their 3-hole. No, that's right. There's 2-hole. That's right.
Down a little bit low. Living down low is a whole lot better than throwing meat up into the middle of the strike zone. 3-0 the count here. Thomas, the number 3 hitter, the designated hitter, waits in the on-deck circle. There's a strike right through there. 3-1 the count. 3 balls, 1 strike, 2 outs, 2 on. Blue Devils with the 3-run lead. Comes the 3-1 from Killian. There's a ground ball at the second baseman, Barham, over to Santiago. So no runs on. No runs on, 1 hit, the double by Grove. The Blue Devils maintain that 4-1 lead as we go to the bottom of the 6th inning. I'll be back. All right, here we go to the bottom half of the 6th inning. Woida, Horn, and Towns scheduled up for the Blue Devils. Woida had a base hit, a 2 RBI base hit in the first, and a strikeout in the third. He's up there leading things off in the bottom of the 6th. That ball's up just a bit. 1-0 the count to the designated hitter, Ian Woida.
Oh, baby.
Fouled that one back out of play. There's a strike called.
I don't care. I want 1-2 against these guys. Do what anybody else.
1-2 the count. There's a line drive right at Baldridge. So he hits it hard, but right at somebody. That's going to bring up Horn. Horn has 2 doubles, 1 for an RBI in this one. He steps in with 1 out and nobody on. There's a breaking ball going to be called a strike. 0-1 the count. There's a strike. That's as low a strike as we've seen him call the entire day right there. But nonetheless, 0-2 the count on Horn. Horn 2 for 2 with a couple of doubles, 1 for an RBI. That's in the dirt.
You know it's coming. They also know how to pitch to him.
Like to think they have a fish to him.
It's 2 for 2 today with freaking 2 dubs. That's good baseball.
How about
Horn,
another
get on
double?
2.
Another double.
Get on 2, Horn. Oh!
Gotta get there, big dog. God, he is a rumbling.
And the double to the right center gap.
3 for 3 with 3 doubles.
So 3 doubles for Horn. And that will bring up.
Now batting for the Blue Devils, the third baseman, number 4, Horn Finley.
That'll bring up Finley. Finley starts the day batting 133. Made a nice defensive play. See if he can get things going here. The first pitch to him's a breaking ball for a strike. Runner at second base. After that, double.
That's the greatest movie of all time. Like, it actually is. I think it is.
You know what I'm talking about though? Like when they have like the 4-hit.
1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out, 1 on. Here in the bottom of the 6th inning, Horn at second base with 3 doubles. 1 in the first, 1 in the third, 1 in the 7th. Squares to bunt, takes a strike. There's that outside corner that's pretty wide. Nonetheless, 1-2 the count on Finley.
Of course, dude. That is cool. Ciao.
Just misses a little bit low and outside. 2 balls, 2 strikes, and an out. Bottom of the 6th inning action. Comes the 2-2 from Ham. Waits on that ball, and it's going to be caught just in foul territory. Bad choice of cameras by me right there. So a fly to Williams at first base. So that's going to bring up Barham. Barham's been out on a fly to right and a fly to left. The fly to left was on a nice diving play coming in quickly by Dandridge. 2 outs now.
That's a good eye.
Misses a little bit low and outside. Barham, the second baseman. 0 for 2 so far. I'd like to get off of that goose egg right there. Get him a hit here and get one more insurance run for the Blue Devils. That's down low. 2-0 the count.
Come on. Don't let him get back in there. Stay locked in, Harry.
Comes the 2-0 from Ham.
Good eye.
That's low and outside. So 3-0 the count now.
Pick me up, Harry.
3 balls, no strikes, 2 outs. There's a strike inside corner at the belt.
Going green light here.
Absolutely green light. Walk's not as good as a hit if it doesn't score this run. There's a ground ball at the third baseman. Smith up with it, double clutches and over to Williams for the ground out. So the Blue Devils get no runs on 1 hit, 1 left on. We go to the top of the 7th inning. Blue Devils leading 4-1. Killian back to mound to try and finish this thing out. We'll be back. All right, to the top of the 7th we go.
Now playing second base for the Blue Devils, number 1, Sawyer Tolt.
Tolk now playing second base. Tolk is from Sioux Falls, South Dakota.
For Cowley.
Thomas, McCaskill, and Smith scheduled up for Cowley, the Tigers. They trail by 3. Killian wants to shut her down. Right here, there's a strike outside corner at the knees. Thomas walked in the first, walked in the third, and flew out to deep center field to Dirks in the 5th. He's up there here to lead things off in the top of the 7th. There's a swing and a miss, so quickly down in the count. 0-2 is Thomas, the designated hitter. Comes the 0-2 from Killian. Just catches the inside corner and called out on strikes is Thomas. What a great place to come with that one. That has been the strikeout corner this entire day.
Number 12, the right fielder,
That's going to bring up McCaskill. McCaskill will step in with 1 out and nobody on. McCaskill has popped out, walked, and had a base hit to left. So 1 for 2 on the day. That's outside, 1-0 the count. Nolan the 4th, Dirksen, Smock across the outfield. Finley, Pachurik, Tolk, and Santiago across the infield with Killian on in relief of Reed and Horn behind the plate. There's a strike, catches the outside corner. 1 ball, 1 strike, 1 out.
I would just go pick it up in there. 'Cause I feel like the Chipotle takes so much longer than
Well, you could always
just walking in there.
you could always
Comes the 1-1.
the Chipotle like as long you can always go.
Swing and a miss.
But like even then, there I feel like I'll be sitting there.
So 1-2 the count on McCaskill.
One time I went there and I had an order and they had a fire at that. And so
Comes the 1-2 pitch. Just real close right there.
Jerry, where did that miss?
It had to have been low because that wide has been called a strike all day.
Just waiting for my headset, Jerry. It's all good.
I know, 2-2.
I would freaking call that thing, man. Call it how I see it. Good.
There's a high chopper at Tolk. Tolk gets it and over to first for the out. If that had been any higher of a high chopper, he'd have been safe over there. But if and buts were candy and nuts, we know about that. Every day it'd be like Christmas. So, 2 outs.
Number 14, Logan Smith.
Did you wonder where I was going with that? Smith, he struck out twice and grounded into a fielder's choice. Down to the last out are the Tigers. Killian wanting to shut it down right here. 1-0 the count. Logan Smith, the third baseman, up there for the Tigers. That's low and inside. 2-0 the count. Blue Devils lead at 4-1. 7-inning scheduled game for the first game of the doubleheader. There's a strike right through there. 2-1 the count. Logan Smith, the third baseman for the Cowley Tigers. 2 balls and a strike with 2 outs. Comes the pitch from Killian. That's outside.
Make them run triangles.
As our PA announcer here shakes his head, we talked last week about how many times we get 2 outs and then we walk somebody. And I'm talking about baseball all around, just not the Blue Devils. Here comes the 3-1. There's a strike, catches the outside corner. So 3 balls, 2 strikes, and 2 outs. Let's get that punch out on the inside corner. What do you say right here? Finish this thing off. Gavin Killian. The stretch and the pitch. And the swing and a miss for the strikeout. No runs, no hits, no errors. The Blue Devils win this one. Thank you. They win it 4-1. We'll be about 20 to 25 minutes. We'll be back with another one. Thank you very much, everyone, for listening. 126 watching and listening. That may be the record of live watching. I appreciate you all. We'll be back.